Now, if anything, I think the Oscar Pistorius trial has turned every South African into an armchair legal expert. We all think we know what's happening with the law, and yesterday general consensus on Twitter, social networks, was that this went particularly well for Harry, now not so well for Barry Roux. Would you agree with this type of thinking?
That's the impression I got, and I would say that Harry, on behalf of the state, has a very good argument to persuade the Supreme Court of Appeal to change the conviction from culpable homicide to one of murder, at least in terms of dolus eventualis. Roux was saying, well, Oscar acted in self-defense, but looking at the facts, what facts are there to indicate that he did actually act in self-defense? If you shoot somebody knowingly and you raise the defense of self-defense, that could exclude you being found guilty or your culpability. You're allowed to shoot somebody even though you intend to kill him if they are attacking you or there's an imminent attack. So there was no even imminent attack. He believed there was an intruder behind the door. Roux was making much of the issue of his mental, emotional, physical state. That is a factor that must be considered by any court. You can't sit back and say, well, now we're in the confines of the court and it's relaxed. Well, sort of relaxed, I suppose. You could get some tense argument. But it's not the scenario that took place when Oscar fired. So somebody feels they're being threatened, may have had friends who've been attacked in their homes, even killed in their homes, high crime in South Africa. I think those are all things that go through anybody's mind who might think there's an intruder. But having said that, the court must put themselves in the position of an Oscar. Again, you've got to look at the facts and what is there to determine, A, that there was an intruder, and B, that intruder was going to attack Oscar. I don't think the facts kind of bear that kind of argument. And Roux was hammering on his emotional state. It plays a role, but I don't think it is so significant that it's going to help Oscar establish that he acted in self-defense.
Now, of course, the big news of the day wasn't necessarily what was argued, but that second little comment that Barry Roux slipped to Harry Nel that was caught on microphones, allegedly him saying, "I'm going to lose this." I think many of us assumed that the two of them were just mortal enemies who hated one another. Clearly not the case yesterday in court. They were chatting to each other. They really seemed to have a good rapport. Is this typical?
Yes, look, lawyers are not... one lawyer on one side is not the enemy of the other lawyer on the other side. And they will each have their instructions and they'll be fighting the case from whichever perspective. So out of court, yes, one gets on with your colleagues who may be on the opposite side. You sometimes might have some heated arguments out of court as well. But generally speaking, one shouldn't become emotionally involved with the case. Maybe Harry did a little bit during the trial in the North Gauteng High Court. So this comment maybe was a bit unfortunate, but I don't know what he meant by it. He might have just been joking or just in casual chat. And everybody's listening, so I think both Nel and Roux should know they mustn't say anything until they're sure the press is nowhere in sight, because this now is out there. This was the moment of the day as far as the case is concerned, but really it means particularly nothing, and the court isn't going to take it into account. They are going to find on what arguments have been presented on the law and look at the facts and say apply the law to the factual situation. So it's really got nothing to do with the case at all.